Holy smokes, I'm back. I don't even know what to do. I don't know how to do this job anymore. There's so much to talk about. I've been gone for so long. Oh, Brandon, my favorite person, Kayla at the helm, all kind of folks in the room today. A lot of stuff to get into, most of which, the stuff we're going to talk about, you probably really don't even care about. I want to talk to you about Jason Aldean. Of course, you knew I was going to talk about that. I want to really spend a lot of time talking about this Barbie movie. And I know I can hear the groans and the, oh, my God, I can't believe. No. Listen, have I ever failed you? Have I ever let you down with my astute analysis? I think that this is culturally relevant. I think it's something we need to talk about, this Barbie movie. It's disturbing, I tell you. It's disturbing. I want to get into these things. And we're going to start with the Jason Aldean story because I said, nothing made me happier than when they found cocaine at the White House. Like, that was my story. That was my Pulitzer right there. That should have been my Emmy award for this, my potty. I don't know what podcast awards they give out, but my analysis on the cocaine, spot on. I mean, that was Woodward and Bernstein level stuff. And I exposed it, and then, boom, I called everything that was going to happen. With the exception of the Kamala thing, as I said, if it was going to come out, that's where they're going to pin it, be probably Doug Emhoff, Kamala's husband. But again, they came out and they said, nope, there's no culprit. I mean, they knew everybody pissing on a tree within a quarter mile of the Capitol building on January 6th. Literally true. Our buddy Anthony Russo was literally in the trees taking a piss on January 6th, and they called him on the carpet. But you can't, in the most surveilled house in the world, the White House, they can't figure out who dropped a little bag of cocaine. But it did prompt me to tell the guys here at the Blaze that I want a new T-shirt made, if they'll ever get on it. We do have, I think we have the new, I've had my shot and a booster T-shirt that I wore a couple of weeks ago. That's going to be at chadonblaze.com. And then I want to do a T-shirt that says, I went to the White House and all I got was this crummy T-shirt and a bag of cocaine. I would wear the hell out of that shirt.
Hell yeah. We got to get Tyler on that.
And just throw a little white powder on there, Brandon.
Hell
just
yeah.
Bam, there it is. But I told him this morning, I said, make that shirt, just put the words on there, throw a little baggie, whatever you want to do. I trust your designs. But I went to the White House and all I got was this crummy T-shirt and a little bag of and a bag of cocaine.
Do you think they'll let us do branded dime bags?
Here's what crossed my mind on this. I wanted to do little refrigerator magnets. Little refrigerator magnets in the shape of a cocaine baggie.
Little dime baggies? Yeah.
Yeah, like a little dime bag. And then throw, which dime bag is weed. That's not cocaine. Cocaine's a little, gram or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, throw that on there with the little words on there. It says, like White House, put a White House seal on it.
The emblem on it?
Yeah. I just don't think any of you people would buy it. And ultimately, I'm about you buying things. But anyway, chadonblaze.com is where my merch store is. If you use promo code CHAD, I think, or CHAD20, whatever you use, CHAD10, try them all. Wherever you're shopping on Blaze, I get the credit for it. And I'm a capitalist. Jason Aldean's a capitalist. I got to tell you, Jason Aldean, first of all, so he gets in trouble for putting out his song, which I think has been out since May. Try that in a small town. I'm not a Jason Aldean music fan. I know that shocks you, but I'm not a Jason Aldean music fan. He's a great entertainer. Okay, so let me preface everything I'm going to say. I've been to some Jason. I went to one Jason Aldean concert years ago. I think only one. We are about a degree of separation from each other. We don't know each other personally. We've had some interaction. Seems like a reasonably nice guy. He's a great entertainer. I mean, what can I say? But I say all that to say this. Jason Aldean is not where I go to get my philosophical outlook on life. Jason Aldean is not the brain trust. He's not the guy where I go, I want to sit at his feet like Jordan Peterson and let him just educate my mind. So the fact that these people are having a meltdown in the idea that Jason Aldean thought so deeply and played 4D chess on making a music video, which, by the way, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm reasonably certain enough that I would probably bet $1,000 that Jason Aldean had nothing to do with the planning of that music video. He didn't write the song. Several other people did. That's Jason Aldean doesn't write his own songs. I mean, I think maybe here and there he might have written one or two, but like he is an entertainer. There's a whole group of songwriters in Nashville that literally their job is to write songs that Jason Aldean might want to perform. Okay. You have different aspects of that in the entertainment business. Some people write their own stuff. Some people don't. And that is what it is. But I guarantee you, when they said, all right, here's the call sheet for this music video, we're going to do it in front of the courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee, Jason Aldean didn't go, you know what? That was the place where they had the 1946 race riots. That was the place in 1927, literally almost 100 years ago, where they drug Henry Choate, a young black man, out of a jail cell and killed him and then lynched his body on the courthouse. I just don't believe that Jason Aldean was thinking that deep. So, but that's the accusations, right? That's the accusations is that Jason Aldean, he's peddling hate. You know, he says, I got a gun that my granddad gave me. And, you know, if you mess around in the small town, you're going to find out about all this kind of stuff. Oh, he's promoting vigilantism. He's promoting gun violence. No, he's just telling you that that's just the way people think in a small town. Like, I mean, we got you back. And again, people say, well, all these bad things have happened in small towns too. Surely people aren't that stupid, but they are. They really are, okay? To understand that values in a big city versus values in a small town are different, and the way he chose to convey that message, for people to get triggered by that amazes me that that's something you found offensive. But they did, okay? But you can't deny the values in the big city. Look, you go to New York City, you got 10 million, 12 million people, however many people living on Manhattan Island. They literally live on top of each other. They're stacked. Human beings are stacked on top of each other. You go to a small town, you might not be able to see your neighbor's house. I mean, you might have to drive a quarter of a mile before you ever see another person. There's a different way of living, and so there's a different mindset. There's a different value system. That's all that the song's trying to do, is say, listen, you're not going to come down here. You're not going to loot. You're not going to do smash and grab. You're not going to have these riots out here, which, by the way, and I pulled a bunch of the screenshots, which I never used. I thought about using them on the show, but if you will go watch the video, 95% of the actual news footage that they showed in the video, the protesters are white people. So for the claims of racism is stupid. It says, oh, this is pushing back against the BLM riots of 2020. No, most of it was actually stuff like Antifa. Most of the stuff that you saw with the fingers in the face of the cops and all of this interactions and altercations, if you actually watch the video, most of the protesters, most of the rioters, they have white skin. So it was a far stretch to be able to do that. So if you got to go, let me back up. If you got to dig 100 years into history and say, oh, they lynched a guy here. You know, you could go to most places in America, and that includes places up north, not just in the South. But you could go most places in America, and if you dig deep enough into its history, some atrocious thing happened to someone somewhere in that area, and you can dig that up and say, oh, see, he's trying to glorify what happened. Now, NPR wrote this thing, and Brandon gave it to me. NPR gave you an interpretation, an explanation of why Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town is such a controversy. And see, even they use selective history. So, the whole Henry Choate thing, they say, well, they drug him behind a car and then they lynched his body. Well, they killed him first. And now that's atrocious. That's horrible. That's horrendous that this happened. He was accused of, sexually harassing a teenage girl. She couldn't quite identify him. He, they say, out of fear, admitted to it. It's a whole To Kill a Mockingbird scenario, apparently. But I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that any of these stories that ever happened, when they pull them out of history, the person, if he was black, was automatically innocent, and he was falsely accused and all of that, which I'm not saying that didn't happen. That did happen a lot. It happened a lot. But who knows what happened, because the guy never had a trial. I don't know that he had a chance to get a fair trial. Again, it was 1927 Tennessee, so we don't know. Probably not a fair shake. But they pulled him out of jail, hit him in the head with a hammer, killed him. then drug his body behind a car, and then lynched him. If you think that now in 2023, Jason Aldean's sitting around going, you know what, let's really push back on the Henry Choate story and put this thing out there in front of the Columbia Courthouse. The reach, the absolute reach to go in and try to find offendedness and some sense of victimization and oppression and racism in that, to me, is just silly. I don't know. I mean, am I thinking wrong, Brandon? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I am.
Well, so I read through the lyrics, and honestly, outside like the first verse, if you remove that, it's pretty much a standard like "Don't Tread on Me" country song.
Yeah.
The only lines you can maybe point to is like carjack an old lady at a red light and robbing liquor stores.
Yeah.
I know who tends to do that. But outside those two lines, it's a pretty mild song, really.
It's a mild song.
And also, like, I grew up listening to gangster rap, so like put on The Chronic, anything from Snoop Dogg, and then you can talk about violent lyrics.
Now, again, you mentioned Snoop Dogg. You're bringing me to my next point. Now, if you go listen to gangster rap, you listen to any of that stuff, you remember Snoop Dogg did the video where he shot Donald Trump in effigy, shot him in the head. You know, at what point in time are you going to have a fair standard and say, listen, this, we're not this, you're kind of using a double standard of hypocrisy here. When are you going to judge the violence that is continually paraded around and glorified in rap music to the point where it's even played out violently in our inner cities? So again, I'm not some big apologist for Jason Aldean. I mean, I don't think Jason Aldean and I are ever going to be big buddies, but I will say the reach to try to claim something this big is stupid, and it is exactly that. It's a reach. And if Jason Aldean is so smart as to come up with this marketing plan that, hey, I'm going to create this kind of controversy to make my song go number one and blow past Taylor Swift and all these other songs, and bam, I mean, like immediately in one day, it's number one on all charts. Kudos to you, brother. Kudos to you on the marketing plan, because damn. But I just don't think that's where we're at in this whole deal. Plenty more we could say on that, but I think that horse has been beat to death. CMT pulled his video. Honestly, I didn't know CMT still played country music videos. They're owned by MTV, so I don't expect them. Is that Viacom? I don't know. I don't keep up with that crap either. But big deal. I know that Blake Shelton pulled out a $30 million deal with CMT. Hank Williams Jr. resigned from the board of CMT. I think Luke Bryan pulled his videos from CMT. What you will find, by and large, is in the country music community, it's a reasonably close-knit community. And you're seeing what happens. These guys tend to stick together. Yeah, they got their little feuds and their fusses. And more woke progressivism has invaded Nashville in a big way. I was just on a phone call this morning with my record label, and one of the promoters, big, huge company. I'm not going to say their name yet, but we are going to write an article about them. We paid them thousands of dollars because we've got some content that's coming out, and they stopped responding. They just stopped communicating with us until finally we went way over their heads and find out that all these people that are working in there are mega liberals, and they were like, we just don't want to work with you. We just don't want to work with you. So they just totally went silent on us and just poop, that's it. So, and that's Nashville, Tennessee. So it kind of threw us in a situation. It was like, listen, we've met with you now for hours over planning and strategizing on this promotion stuff, and paid you thousands of dollars, and your peons down there, these project managers, have just said, nah, we don't want to. And their reasoning was, they said, well, Spotify may punish us for putting this person's content out. I don't know if you understand. There's some stuff on Spotify that's pretty strong. And by the way, we got some songs coming out in September that if you think Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town is tough, wait till you hear our shit. So who knows? Maybe they made a wise decision. All right. Before we go to break, we're just days away from the Durban Accords, the greatest threat to the U.S. dollar's global dominance in the past 80 years. On August 22nd, BRICS nations, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, They're expected to announce the launch of the new international supercurrency fully backed by gold or other commodities. This is part of their long-term plan to supplant the U.S. and the dollar as the cornerstones of the global financial system. Now, how can you protect your IRA or 401k from the fallout from this landmark announcement? Well, you got to diversify with gold from Birch Gold Group. Now, historically, gold has been a safe haven in times of high uncertainty, which is right now. So get a free info kit on gold IRAs and decide for yourself if a tax-sheltered retirement account backed by physical precious metals is right for you. Text my name, CHAD, I spell it Chad, to the number 989898. There's a monumental shift happening among nations that control 1/3 of the world's GDP, and it kicks off on August 22nd. But you need to arm yourself with information to protect your retirement savings. Text Chad to the number 989898. Claim your free info kit from Birch Gold. We'll be right back. All right, before I get into the Barbie movie, which I know everybody's waiting with bated breath. Everybody's waiting with bated breath. I'd tell you to come to my show Saturday night in Coleman, Texas, but it's sold out, thank God. And then next week, I'm going to be outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Oakmont, Pennsylvania. Go to watchchad.com for all the fun stuff is. Get tickets if you're in the Pittsburgh area. Come hang out. If you're not in the Pittsburgh area, come drive. Drive over. I got to give a shout out to my girl, Linda Adams. Linda, I know you're watching the show right now. I think she's been to like 25 shows of mine.
I mean, she's in the chat every night.
Dude, she's in the chat every night from Conroe, and she doesn't like to be picked out, singled out. That's why I'm doing it. But I got on stage last night. I went, Dustin Sims and Jesse Payton had a show at Hyenas in Dallas, and so I went and got on stage for a few minutes at the beginning, and I looked down, and there's Linda sitting there. I mean, she's driven all over. She came to the Fredericksburg show. She'll drive 4 hours for these shows. It's incredible. So, Linda, I love you. And there's a ton of people out there that have consistently come to shows, but Linda's killing it. But then on the 11th of August, I'm in Waco. And then on the 12th, I'm in Georgetown, Texas. And then the 18th, 19th, and 20th, I am in La Jolla, California. So get your tickets, watchchad.com. And my show in Waxahachie, that's all the way out September 9th. It's already sold out. So that's good. Good problem to have. Barbie movie. So the other night I'm sitting there, CJ, her, you know, she comes in. We just got back from vacation. It was chaos. It was a great time, but it was chaos when we're traveling with 21 people. And had a blast down in Mexico. And she comes in, and CJ's not the sit-still kind of person. She said, let's go. I want to go see the Barbie movie. And I was like, oh, I'm grumbling about it. I don't want to go see this. I said, I'd rather go see Oppenheimer. A little while later, she goes, what's this Optimus Prime movie? And I was like, no, you know, it's Oppenheimer. She's part of the public school system. And she's a product, I should say, public school system. So we go see the Barbie movie, and I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this thing. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to see a bunch of woke BS, all right? I know I'm going to see this kind of stuff. I was pleased with the movie. Aesthetically, it's fun to watch. If you're willing to let your gay side out a little bit, it'd be a little metrosexual, get in touch with your emotions. Honestly, the movie, I'm an emotional person. Y'all know this about me. I'm an emotional person. The older I get, the more emotional I get. The movie made me cry a couple times. CJ looked at me, she goes, are you crying? And I was like, shut up, bitch! And you don't know me, woman. But there's a couple of things, because I'm a father of 3 daughters, you know. I'm watching this thing, and there's some sentimental BS in there. But let me say, first of all, Ryan Gosling, and this is going to make me sound real gay, that's a good actor. That dude's a good actor.
I mean, I think we're both comfortable enough with ourselves to be like, he's an objectively good actor.
He's a good actor.
He looked the part.
Yeah. To play that part, I mean, he's done a few different things. Like, I was disappointed when they cast him as the Gray Man, which is based off of Mark Greeny's books that I love. I thought they could have recast that, but that's sort of like making Tom Cruise Jack Reacher. I didn't like that casting. But he pulled it off. You know, what was the movie about the swans and crap that he did with the girl with the great butt way back? The Notebook. I knew you when I said great butt. Can't think of her name. She does have a great butt. But I don't objectify women. The but this movie, it's a weird movie, man. It's very metaphysical. It's very existential. And actually, the movie's about having an existential crisis. It's about identity issues. It's about trying to figure out who you are. There's some deep meaning there. It's a very, very new agey, spiritual movie, which sounds funny to say. Let me go ahead and say it's not for children. The fact that there were people it was a 10 o'clock showing, and the fact that people had 3 and 4 year olds in there, one, bad decision across the board as a parent. But this is not a movie for kids. Very adult humor, very deep subject matter. But it's everything. The woke BS is in there. But ultimately, the message that I took away from it wasn't okay. Because I don't want to give away spoilers, so I'm trying to tiptoe around this. Because I know y'all are all waiting with your tickets in hand to go see the Barbie movie. And God bless Margot Robbie. God bless God for making Margot Robbie. What a beautiful woman. And a fine actor herself, I guess. Whatever. She may have acted. I don't know. She's just there. And that was enough for me. But, they're in Barbie land and it's ruled by women, right? And they have this idea, the Barbies have this idea that they made the real world perfect for women too. Well, then they go to the real world and they discover that it's run by, according to the movie, run by men. And Ken, well, he loves this idea. Like as Rob Smith made a video about this, he said if you took a shot every time they used the word patriarchy in this movie, you'd be hammered drunk. They'd have to pump your stomach. And he's right, because they keep talking about the patriarchy. But he goes and he's like, so Ken brings this idea back to Barbie land about how men need to be in control. Which, quite honestly, being the chauvinist that I am, I loved Barbie Land when it was run by the guys. I thought it was a great concept. But anyway, and then it's this whole, crisis of identity thing of what's right, and you just have to see the movie. But put your thinking cap on, because I could literally sit there and unpack every single scene for the deeper meaning. So I have to say, whether you agree with the full message of the movie or not, by and large, I thought the message of the movie was okay. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Now, it did make all the men be bumbling idiots, even in the real world, the ones that rule the world in the patriarchy world. They were still bumbling, brainless idiots. I don't like that messaging, of course. But again, discovering yourself and who you are. One thing the movie did that I thought was very good was it said it's okay to be a mom and to just be a mom. And that's your role, is to just be a mom. That's one movie that I can honestly say I've never heard anybody else ever say that it's just okay to be a mom as a woman. So good for them on doing that. A lot of other woke messages, a lot of spiritual new agey crap in there, but you can weed through that stuff. But check it out, okay? Check it out and see what's up. But I got to go see Oppenheimer. You were telling, who was saying, Joe, you were saying you're going to see Oppenheimer? Who was saying that? You going to go see Barbie and Oppenheimer? It's a good idea. I think it's a good plan.
I believe they're calling it Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
Yes.
And everybody's dressing up to go see this Barbie thing.
Hey, I think ladies just like an excuse to wear pink.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I saw some pretty interesting characters going into the theater last night, because after Hyenas, we went down to the sushi restaurant, which was right next to the theater, and there were some dudes coming in with like pink sweaters wrapped around their shoulders and stuff. And okay. Okay. Like, I didn't know we were supposed to do all that. I didn't do all that, but
you didn't put on your finest pink attire?
No, I didn't.
No.
But I'll tell you what I like about a movie. When a movie will spark conversation, I like that. I think that's the point. I think that's what you should do. Mindless stuff that doesn't spark some conversation later on. Again, compare that to say, okay, what we talked about in the first segment with the Jason Aldean video. Like, I should be able to look at somebody's interpretation of the world they live in without being offended by it, right? So if I was just going to worry about the woke crap that's in a movie, I would never see another movie. If I had to analyze every actor that's in every movie and their personal lifestyle, I would just never see a movie. Now, I know that you guys are saying, well, forget Hollywood. Well, and that's fine. I mean, that's your personal choice. Now, me personally, I tend to like to be culturally abreast of things so I know half of what I'm talking about. And so I expose myself to a lot of stuff out there. And again, I wasn't overly enthralled with the idea of going to see the Barbie movie, but I've got a very beautiful girlfriend who's very coercive. She's mean, and I'm living under duress. But if you see me blink twice with both eyes, come get me. And like, probably like if I needed to put a note out there that said I'd been kidnapped by the cartels, but I couldn't mention that I'd been kidnapped by the cartels, like if I wrote, I'm at the Barbie movie, you probably would know that I'm in some kind of danger in somebody's trunk.
We can use that as like our safe word going forward. Yeah. If you ever hear that phrase, it's trouble.
Yeah, you know there's trouble somewhere. But, you know, again, I was able to go watch that, even with the woke nonsense that's in it, I didn't cry over it. I didn't feel the need to go out. I could still find the good in it, right? And whatever. But again, you can't do that anymore. Both progressive left and people on the right, that's one of the things that troubles me the most culturally, is that we have to politicize every damn thing. Like, everything's got to be that way. It's like, can we just chill a little bit? And again, yeah, I don't think the kids need to be exposed to gratuitous things. That's a line we have to draw. We've consistently drawn that line through this program on where we stand on that. But at the end of the day, as an adult, you should be able to just go out, enjoy a film, read a book, see something, hear something you maybe disagree with, let it spark a conversation, have some dialogue, and, do, what I say this country was founded on, and that is debate, discuss, disagree, dialogue, and then be able to come together on it. I mean, let's reason together on these things. And I know you guys are laughing at me because you're thinking, I can't believe you're getting this deep with something called a Barbie movie. But it's a reasonably deep philosophical movie. Kayla, wouldn't you agree? I mean, so I'm going to give it 4 stars out of 5. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Will I go see it again? No. But I tend to not go see movies again. I mean, I'll tell you this. I enjoyed it more than Indiana Jones.
Well, yeah, Indiana Jones was garbage.
It was trash.
At least Barbie was hot. If it was real woke garbage, she would have been a fat, like, lesbian school teacher or something.
Now, I will say, as a disclaimer, that they give this great speech about, America Ferrera. She plays a character. She plays a real-world mom. She gives this speech about what women go through. It's sort of bullshit, but it's sort of true. It's a mix. And no, it's a mix, Kayla. She gives this speech, which I'm like, okay, but you could give the same speech about men. I mean, you just change some of the verbiage. It's talking about the catharsis of women go through this, but they can't, like you can be pretty, but you can't be too pretty. You can be skinny, but you can't be too skinny, and all this kind of stuff. Well, you could say the same things about men. You could be aggressive, but you can't be too aggressive. You can be successful, but you can't be too successful. You can climb to the top, but don't step on anybody else. Men live in a crisis too. So that's humanity. I mean, that's just the nature of life. But she gives this speech about how wonderful womanhood is, and I'm like, okay, I see the point. But when you got a dude who's playing one of the Barbies, it kind of makes it fall on deaf ears. Because you talk about the greatness of women, but then you got a trans person playing one of the Barbies in the movie. So, I mean, what she should have said is, and women don't have a penis. That would have been perfect in the speech. All right, guys, right now the world's changing in a lot of uncomfortable ways. Again, Chad Prather went to the Barbie movie. But we got natural disasters. You got political and economic disasters. The bottom line is you need to be prepared for anything to happen at a moment's notice. And you're not going to get a warning when that happens. And folks, this is not a movie. This is why the smartest thing you can do right now is invest in emergency food from preparewithchad.com. Preparewithchad.com. So as I speak, mypatriotsupply.com is offering a deep discount on their popular 3-month emergency food kit. And how about a 25% savings on it? That's the biggest discount they offer. Doesn't come along every day, so don't pass it up. Act now. Grab your 25% discount on each 3-month kit you need, and you need 1 kit per family member. Now, you won't regret it. Go to preparewithchad.com. It's going to be built in right there. Save 25% today before the sale is over. Preparewithchad.com. We'll be right back. All right. God, I don't know if you know this or not, but we got a criminal family in the White House. Yeah, we do. We do. Listen, the two-tier justice system is amazing to me. I'm so tired of talking about the indictments on Trump. I mean, that's just going to keep on happening. I think most of you, if you would just agree with me, you wish that a lot of this drama would go away. I mean, both the indictment stuff and Trump. I mean, Trump's leading in the polls. There's no question about it. I think, as I said to CJ the other day, the Ron DeSantis campaign just seems to be imploding in so many ways. And again, we're in one of these deals. We walk out on this thin ice because even discussing it pisses off people. And I'm like, y'all need to relax a little bit, okay? This is honest fact. I mean, the Ron DeSantis campaign just can't seem to pick up any steam, and when it comes to coming up, trying to face Trump in this primary. And by and large, those who are supporting Trump, they just believe that it's not Ron DeSantis's time. I can see the logic in that. They feel like that was stolen from Trump in 2020, and he deserves the opportunity to be back in there again. I could see that logic too. You just hate to see that. I mean, they're going to do everything they can to absolutely suicide this man before 2024. But then you got Joe Biden. Joe Biden's taking the short steps up to Air Force One now. I don't know if you've seen this now. He's taken the 14 steps rather than the 26 steps up to Air Force One. Because now remember, this Joe Biden is the guy that his aides, they say they can't keep up with him. They say they just can't keep up with him. He's so physically active that we just have a hard time keeping up with this guy. But they make him take the short stairs. So, when they roll the stairs out, there's a door at the top of Air Force One and there's a door at the bottom of Air Force One. He's taking the bottom door because they don't want Joe going up too many stairs. I mean, the guy's 900 years old. He's using the large font on the teleprompter and still can't read the damn thing. He mumbles along with his note cards before he speaks to anybody that he's sitting across from. And, they pre-pick the questions from the reporters, and then they tell him who he's supposed to call on. So this is the guy that I've said over and over again, there's no possible way they let him run in 24, and they got to get rid of him before the election comes around because they got to get rid of Kamala too, because ain't nobody voting for Kamala. I mean, there's nobody voting for Kamala Harris. So Devin Archer, who, of course, is a former business associate of Hunter Biden, is going to testify in front of the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability about 24 or more instances when he allegedly witnessed Joe Biden take part in his son's business calls or in-person meetings with foreign nationals or prospective investors. So basically, the Biden family was using Hunter. Hunter was sort of like Joe's shell corporation, okay? They were peddling influence. And again, people go, I love it when people jump on Twitter and say, where's the evidence? Well, what are you willing to take as evidence at this point? Because there's so much. I mean, there's receipts. There's literal receipts of the money that they received. I mean, there's text messages talking about 10% for the big guy. What? Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma making $84,000, what was it? It's like $80,000 a month? Something like that. He has no oil and gas experience. He was literally peddling influence in Ukraine. Not to mention the fact that a crackhead is on Air Force Two flying with his dad to China. Why? What evidence do you want? There's no evidence. Well, I mean, when the gun's got smoke coming out of the barrel, you tend to look at it and say, I think they probably used that gun. So, again, Archer's been subpoenaed, and he played a significant role in the Biden family's business deals. And that includes China, Russia, Ukraine. And Devin Archer, he supposedly met with then Vice President Biden on multiple occasions, including the White House. Now, again, you got to remember that when Joe Biden was campaigning for president in 2019, he told the reporters in Iowa, he said, quote, I have never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings. Shit. Oh, boy. Yeah. Smartest guy you ever knew, right, Joe? And you're not talking to him about your business dealings? And did you see the picture? Hunter goes to visit his lawyer, and his lawyer fires up a bong.
That was hilarious.
Which, again, is not illegal in California for him to smoke a bong. But it's a damn bad look.
Yeah.
Like everywhere Hunter shows up, there's drugs.
Look, the man's a party. I think instead of the smoking gun, we can refer to it as the smoking crack pipe.
Smoking pipe. Wow. Wherever there's a smoking pipe, you'll find Hunter. It's so, yeah. Anyway, but Devin Archer's got a ton of stuff about all these different meetings. You know, he and Hunter Biden left a dinner with the Burisma board at the Burj Al Arab Hotel, traveled to the Four Seasons Resort in Dubai at Jumeirah Beach, and then took a call from Pizarski. Pizarski wanted to show where they were because Burisma's owner, Zlochevsky, needed to speak to Hunter urgently soon after the two Ukrainians joined Hunter and Archer at the Four Seasons bar, and he asked Hunter, can you ring your dad? So Hunter allegedly complied, called his father, put the vice president on the speakerphone, then introduced the Ukrainians to Joe Biden by name as Nikolai and Vadim, and also said words to the effect that the Burisma bigwigs need our support. Okay. Now, again, I say all that and then remind you, nothing's going to be done about it. So don't worry about that. Just forget it. Don't worry about that. This is a sad world we're living in. But don't worry, Joe Biden, he is AI. He can't walk up the long stairs. But play clip. You got clip number 2 there real quick. Play it for me.
I'm the AI. Send a mistake I made, blame it on the AI. First of all, thanks.
Wow. He's the AI. Yeah, you are artificial.
At this point, we'd be better off with an AI.
100%.
Yeah.
Like I'm not convinced he's not.
If he's an AI, I'm not worried about them ending the world.
No, there's definitely a glitch.
Yeah.
There's definitely a glitch.
They got to fix the coding.
Yeah. All right, everybody deals with pain from time to time. It's one of the few guarantees you have in life, and when it happens, you sustain it, you deal with it, you move forward, but sometimes there's no moving forward because sometimes it comes back day after day after day, month after month, until that pain fills your world and steals your joy out of life. Now, if you're one of those people who experience this, you know it is really awful to live with that. But the good news is it doesn't have to be that way. Relief Factor is a great way to reduce pain, which is mostly caused by inflammation in our joints. When you take it as directed, it could absolutely change your life. It's not a drug, but it was developed by doctors and it reduces inflammation in your body. Now, 70% of the people who take it, they keep on ordering it because it works for them. Now, if you're living with pain, I want you to try it as well and see if it works. Try their 3-week quick start. It's just $19.95. It's a trial pack, and you can get it at relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com, or you can call them on the phone, 800-4-RELIEF, relieffactor.com. Be right back. The other day I made a Facebook reel before I went on vacation, and I talked about getting away from the big box stores, Walmart, Target, the conglomerates and stuff like that. And I said, if you'll send me a private message on my Facebook page, that will help you know how to do that. And so we sent some links out. We got like 1,200 private messages. And then there were a lot of people and so there were people who signed up with this deal. I'm not going to get into it on the show, but if you signed up, go make your purchases, because you've got to enroll, and you do that by setting up your purchases so you can buy your stuff that you get at Walmart or Target, whatever. You got to go online and shop with this deal. And again, it's with patriots and conservatives. So if you're listening and you're one of those people, and you got the DM, sign up and go do your thing. All right, that's all I'm gonna say about that. If you know, you know. How about that? I like deals where you get paid to shop. I don't know about you guys. Like, I believe in this parallel economy thing, Brandon. I'm always looking for ways to, parallel economy, parallel culture, parallel entertainment, all of these things. That's why I signed with Based Records. We made that announcement a week and a half ago. We're working on 6 new songs that we've written that are just going to be punch people in the face. We got an incredible song. I think we're going to do this song. It's going to be out for Christmas, about why Santa Claus is so happy all the time. Because if you had the list where all the naughty girls lived, you'd be jolly too. That's going to be a fun little Christmas song for the family.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. But we got some really cool stuff that's going to be kind of punch in the face music coming out. So I'm excited about all that kind of stuff. Thousands of diversity and equity officers have been laid off. This is a Wall Street Journal report. I don't know if you guys saw where that college diversity counselor at the university, they fired her for pushing back against kind of the race baiting claims, and they fired her for pushing back against a bunch of the race card crap they were playing at the university. Turns out she's black. She was saying, no, this isn't right. They fired her. But anyway, left-wing activists are panicking as companies and corporations are choosing to lower their commitment to diversity and equity. This is a report that said thousands of diversity-focused workers have been laid off in the last year after many companies have rushed to prove that they were implementing diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. So, again, the report cites frequent social media firestorms to explain why some companies are pivoting away from hiring DEI officers. People are tired of woke bullshit. I mean, my God, if $27 billion of loss for Anheuser-Busch doesn't show you something about where America's at, the fact that everybody's pulling out of Target and Disney and CMT now with the Jason Aldean thing and saying, listen, we're just tired of this crap you guys keep pushing down our throats. Like, this debacle over Dylan Mulvaney. I mean, Dylan Mulvaney's about to go into deep obscurity. I mean, did he even make it back from Peru? Do we know? Did he stay at Machu Picchu?
I'm sure he came back for the Barbie premiere.
Probably did.
If there's anybody who I know was dressed in their finest pink regalia for the Barbie movie, it was
what
Dylan.
A shit show. But then you find out that, like, Fox News is doing dollar for dollar, for people's donations. Some of them going to the Satanic League or Satanic Church or whatever.
The Satanic Church, yeah.
And I'm like, people are like, and they're like, yeah, they're not down with that shit. Oh, but you don't understand. The Satanic Church is all about equality. And we don't care. We literally don't care. Because anything with the word Satan in it, we're just not a fan of it. Just, meh. I mean, we're just gonna play the odds and avoid Satan. How about that? We're just gonna keep Satan out of the conversation. According to one estimate, the DEI industry ballooned to $3.4 billion in 2020. Since then, chief diversity officers are experiencing 40% higher turnover as compared to other positions. Yep. That's just the way it goes. And let me tell you something, dude. I have gotten to a point, I fly 200,000 miles a year. I'm in the air all the time. I'm constantly in the air. This diversity hire shit with the airlines that's going on, bro, it is killing an industry. On a practical level, everything is late, everything is delayed, the service is horrible. It scares me, the fact that United was basing the hiring of pilots off of this diversity crap. I'm like, I don't care what color your skin is. Can you land the freaking plane? Can you take off without me spilling my cocktail in first class? Like, can you keep us in the air? Because I'm a little concerned right now. Like, I don't care where you went to school. I'm just saying, I don't want an affirmative action pilot. I don't want somebody that checked a box. I don't care. When you get to Chicago, I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care. As long as you get us safely on the ground in O'Hare, which is always sketchy because of the winds anyway. So I don't care. But I'm seeing it, man. In the airlines, I'm freaking seeing it. Everywhere I go, there's another delay. There's another pushback. The pilots aren't showing up. The scheduling is screwed up. Handling of the bag sucks. Don't even get me started on TSA, which is a whole different industry. But oh my God. And I want to say so many things about TSA. This is a side note. But I travel so much, I get recognized by a lot of TSA. And I really don't need my flights delayed by TSA because they're pissed at something that I said. But you guys need to take a Xanax. Like legit. Take a Xanax. And I don't know what they call the TSA in Mexico, but they're worse.
They have a TSA in Mexico?
It ain't TSA, but it's something.
Oh, from what I know from Narcos, they're all employed by the cartels to let drug smugglers through.
I literally went through the scanner naked the other day. I mean, I pulled my shirt off and everything just to be a smart ass.
I did see, Savannah, our friend Savannah Hernandez, she did a thread because she got stuck on a plane for like 2 hours.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, Savannah was stuck. I saw somebody, I can't even, my friend Chris Wallen, songwriter who's on the show a couple of weeks ago, he got stuck in Dallas, DFW. He got stuck there for 48 hours. That week he was here, 48 hours. 48 hours in DFW. All right, guys, you got to clean your guns. It's a necessary thing. It's a dirty job, but you got to do it. It's part of being a responsible gun owner. And I want to tell you about my buddies over at Barrel Buddy. They're a great solution. It is a perfect deal. A lot of people say, oh, it's just pushing little makeup things through there. It's not. That's not what it is. These polymers are cool. They compress to fill the interior of your gun's barrel, and they will clean the rifling grooves. Comes in 7 different sizes, matches any caliber firearm you got, and it won't leave behind the residual particles, so it makes it a safer concept as well. It'll collect the particulates. It absorbs the residue, buffs the interior surface clean, and you lubricate your firearm at the same time. So it's an important step when you clean your guns, and Barrel Buddy is a new concept you're going to love, so I want you to check them out. I guarantee you're going to love them. Go to barrelbuddy.com. That's barrelbuddy.com. We'll be right back. Hey guys, watchchad.com is where all the fun stuff is. But I want to encourage you. I was so proud of the Blaze with that town hall they did with Tucker Carlson and just our production of that. I was home all day waiting on the Geek Squad to come fix a TV, which they didn't do. So I was able to sit there and watch a lot of the town hall that day. So I was so proud of the Blaze and what they put together with that deal the week before last, and just phenomenal production. And I want to encourage you guys, be a part of the Blaze family. blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad and save on an annual subscription. Be a part of the family. And we'll be back tomorrow on Tuesday. We love you. God bless you. Talk to you then. Bye.